Hello everyone, this is Miss Siddiqui here. In this video, we are going to talk about the 4 types of conflict present in fictional works. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to ask you is, which movie would you rather spend money on? Movie 1, girl and boy meets girl, they fall in love, they lived happily ever after. Or movie 2, a fatal misunderstanding. Boy meets girl had a mean father and doesn't trust men. Boy doesn't realize that she had a troubled past and thinks she doesn't like him. He becomes suicidal. Girl discovers him after he has overdosed and has enough time to tell him the truth before he dies in her arms. I'm guessing you picked movie 2. Why is that? Because in this situation, there's several layers of conflict. It doesn't just work out naturally. The characters have to struggle, they have to overcome obstacles. That makes for a more compelling narrative, a more interesting narrative, and characters that are flawed and have depth. So all the things that really make a good story are created through conflict. Conflict drives plot. So, what is conflict? Definitionally, conflict is a struggle between opposing forces or characters. So the conflict is the problem in the story. So when anyone asks you what is the conflict of the story, just think of what was the problem in the story? What did the main character have to face or overcome in the story? So there are 4 types of conflict. There's character versus character, which is when there are problems with another character between the protagonist and another character. So examples are dueling swordsmen, fighting lovers, or even a child running away. So it has to be 2 people in opposition. The next is character versus society. So this is when a character has problems with the laws or norms of a group. So some typical situations for character versus society conflicts include political rebellions, even a speeding ticket, or maybe somebody is opposing school uniforms and doesn't like the norms of the school. So character versus society is pretty abstract. You're going against what a group of people has agreed upon to be the rules. The next is character versus nature. So this is when a character faces problems with the forces of nature. So for example, a story about being caught in a blizzard or stuck on an island or surrounded by wolves would be character versus nature examples of conflict. And then the next one is character versus self. So this is when the character, the protagonist or another character, is basically struggling with some indecision. They don't know what to do in a particular situation. They're being pulled in different directions. So this can be as basic as choosing what shoes to wear, or this can be choosing right from wrong. So character versus self often is about a dilemma, an ethical dilemma that a character is facing, or a challenging choice that a character is facing. And also character versus self can encompass feelings like guilt in a situation. So that's character versus self type of conflict. So there are 4 types of conflict: character versus character, character versus nature, character versus self, and character versus society. And then among those, right, there's internal and external conflict. So internal conflict takes place inside yourself. External conflict takes place between a person and a force outside of one's body. So there is only one kind that is internal, which is character versus self, and the other 3 kinds, character versus character, character versus society, and character versus nature, are all external because those conflicts take place outside of the individual character facing the problem. So remember that there's internal and external, and the only one that is internal is character versus self. So let's take a look at this. What might be happening in this picture? What's the conflict? Which of the 4 types do you think it is? Did you say character versus nature? Because you would be right. You can tell in this situation that they are in dire circumstances, and you can see this ominous tornado looming in the background. So this is going to be a character versus nature type of story. How about this one? What's the conflict? What might be happening in this picture? You can see the woman looking away, the man trying to communicate with her, but she won't have it. So what do you think this is? Did you guess character versus character? Because you would be right. So who knows what could be going on between these two, but it doesn't seem very positive. There's clearly a problem between one character and another character. How about this picture? What might be happening? What's the conflict? Did you guess character versus self? Because you would be right. Because clearly here, this individual is not coming across any external obstacle, but rather is facing a dilemma internally of which direction to choose. So this picture could be considered some sort of metaphor for a choice or decision that this character soon has to make. So this would be character versus self, which, remember, is a type of internal conflict. How about this one? Take a look at the picture and this character looking over at the water fountain, the white water fountain, and he's being forced to drink at the colored water fountain. What type of conflict do you think this is? Did you guess character versus society? Because you would be right. This man, this African American man, is having to face the unfortunate circumstances of segregation many years ago, and so you can see that he is bound to the laws of society which are forcing this segregation, which is unjust, which is unequal. So this would be an example of character versus the norms and laws of society which were keeping people of different races apart. So, after you finish the video, what I would like you to do is to submit to the Types of Conflict forum that's on Moodle. Write 3 sentences about a problem that you experienced over the long weekend and decide what type of conflict you experienced. Was it character versus character, character versus society, character versus nature, or character versus self? Connecting your own life and your own feelings about the problems you face with these types of conflict will help you to better recognize the types of conflict, either the 4 types or internal or external, in the literature that we read this year. Thanks for watching!